I'm Baker Abinger.
And I'm Carson Howe.
We're here at Hogsmeade, about to ride the Harry Potter ride on the Media Arts Los Angeles Travel Study 2018.
Please put the pictures of my
So we recently just got back from the Media Arts Travel Study in LA, and I'd say my favorite memory of that was probably the first day we got there on Friday.
The first thing we did when we got there was the Sony tour. We went and we saw the Jeopardy set, the Wheel of Fortune set, and the set of the Goldbergs, which airs on NBC.
I really liked Warner Brothers because like Batman was like my childhood, and they had like this whole like warehouse just full of old like Batman vehicles, bikes, cars, the big tanks they
The
use.
Signal.
The Bat Signal, which was pretty cool.
In the room where they had a bunch of the props and costumes from like the DC movies and Harry Potter and stuff, they had like an actual sorting hat, like that. They had like a voiceover, and you could sit down and it would sort you into a house.
One of my favorite parts of the trip was eating at In-N-Out Burger for the first time. It was just really, really tasty. We had it twice because it was not
Did you get a Krusty Burger?
Unfortunately, no.
Krusty Burger was really good.
We got to go and be in the live studio audience of America's Funniest Home Videos, and since me and Matthew just looked so good, we got to go to the very front and sit at the very front where Alfonso was a lot of the time, and that was really, really cool. We got to be around him a lot.
I think something that was really cool that I took away from the LA trip this year was at the live taping of AFV, we saw like the things we learn and practice in this class here in Nashville being used in like the real world and the real industry.
I thought it was cool how we got to vote for the winning video, and we got to have a say in that. And it was really cool to see like all the technical stuff and have a real stage director in front of you and to see what it's like to have that job.
Seeing how the cinematographers were able to make the illusion to like make a cool shot, because they would like move walls around and you'd like have no idea that if you turn the camera around there'd be a whole group of directors and videographers there. And actually cinematography is one of the things that we learned here in Media One, like one of the first things we learned, and we saw that being displayed through this live taping.
I thought the After Effects show was pretty great, especially because we had the best seats in the house, thanks to Miss Kane. She was asked to scream, and she had the loudest scream of all, so yeah, we ended up in the VIP section, and she was in the show, so that was cool to watch.
She was selected because she has a very large fan club. Also, she has a great Hollywood scream. Let me show you what I mean. Catherine, you've just checked into the Bates Motel. You're shampooing your hair. The shower curtain flies open. There's Norman Bates. How would you scream? Nice.
My favorite part about the second day was probably Santa Monica Pier, just because of like all the cool rides we got to go on and like just the liveliness of it all. And I'm gonna be honest, on the Ferris wheel, when our group got stuck at the top, and I got a little scared for a second because like you just look out straight into the ocean.
So we started off on the last day. We went to Chapman first with alumni Will Peters, and he showed us around his film school. And then we went over to USC, where my sister goes now, and she showed us around her film school. And it was just really cool to see the difference between those, kind of the small school and a big school. And I hadn't seen my sister since January, so it was cool to catch up with her and see where she goes to school now and all that she's learned.
I just thought it was really cool at Chapman University that they had an exact remake of Warner Brothers Stage 16, where they could, or like a sound stage where they could build their sets. And it was also really cool because they said the whole thing was built on springs because there was a train nearby. So not only was it completely soundproof, but it was also completely like vibration proof. So whenever they were in there, they were isolated from the outside.
I think my favorite part was hearing from writer Bob Smiley, from a Christian standpoint, like what it's like to work in the industry and work with people that aren't Christians and will have different viewpoints than you.
I loved what Bob Smiley had to say about being a Christian in the film industry. The best piece of advice that Bob Smiley gave us was that when he goes into an interview, he doesn't open up with he's a Christian. He lets that be shown through his works and through his actions and how he treats people. And it's not how he defines himself.
Go on the LA trip 2020.
Back to you in the studio.